Hello, Blizzard fans! This is FalconPaladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between validng and ZeroXIII, or 13 on Terraform, the latter edition. Alright, so in the top left of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the red Zerg player. It is validng. And in the bottom right of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the blue Protoss player. It is ZeroXIII. I got confused there for a second. X is 10, V is 5 in Roman numerals, but ZeroXIII it is. ZeroXIII did go random, which I can respect. Again, this is a gold level subscriber submitted replay, as screened by Squeaks My Screener. So again, it is low level. I've seen some complaints on the channel about people saying that they don't like the lower than Masters GM stuff, but you know what? Fun things can happen in lower level games too. I like giving people kind of a platform for their games to be cast. I do try to cast one high-level game and one subscriber game per day. So if you don't like the ones that are coming from people like validng, then just go ahead and watch the other ones with people like Crank, and you can be happy and everybody will be happy, and that's pretty much the goal. Alright, so it looks like we are going to go 15 hatch here from validng, trying to do so anyway, but there's a probe. There's a probe in the way, and it looks like the probe's actually going to win this fight, and it does. Oh, almost gets it. No. Running away the drone. This is where you bring in a second drone. Yeah, because see how you managed to pull this guy out. Throwing down a pylon is actually a pretty big investment for ZeroXIII to block this off. I had this happen to me before, though. You pylon this off, you pylon this off, you pylon this off, and it seems like a pretty big investment for the Protoss player, but not being able to get a hatchery as early as you want it really throws stuff up and is super, super annoying. Here comes that probe again. Are we going to try to pylon block this one off? If we see the drone coming, he might just do it. Meanwhile, back here, turnabout is fair play. The drone is going around and around, or it was trying to block off the creation of a nexus here, and he might have actually, yeah, he forced the cybercore to come down earlier than ZeroXIII wanted to do it. Oh, sneaky second base at the gold. I like this response from validng. Also stealing gas from ZeroXIII. Boy, he is really feeling it right now. He's mad about losing that ability to take his natural. He's taken the gold base. He's stealing the extractor. He blocked off the nexus creation here for ZeroXIII for quite some time. Looks like not for any longer, though. ZeroXIII should throw it down right about now, and there it goes. Blah, it says, making noise. Finally, some things come down. It provides some actual DPS to take down this particular pylon. Boop, finally does explode, and do we have enough money to take a hatchery? We do. Okay, so validng is up to the 3 hatches there. The probe comes in and says, hey guys, how's it going? Ah! Takes a couple hits and does get exploded. So these lings are heading out. They might be looking for blood, but no. Did actually let this extractor finish for validng. This actually does pretty well cripple ZeroXIII's gas production. I mean, not forever, but in the early game, if he's trying to go adepts, he doesn't have as much money for adepts as he would have normally. But instead, we have a mothership core, we have a stalker on the way, and there it is, and also producing a zealot. So we're going standard Heart of the Swarm stuff here for ZeroXIII. validng finally has his hatchery pop at the gold expansion. He's getting metabolic boost. He's getting a lair here at the 3-minute mark. Fairly standard stuff as far as Legacy of the Void is concerned. He's running lings around looking for a forward pylon. Very, very smart indeed. And ZeroXIII is playing defense. After all that aggression where he blocked off bases for the Zerg player, he didn't even... So he saw that coming down, but I would have scouted around because he knew the base didn't come down here as a third. I would have scouted here to see if there's anything going on, but he instead decided to head on back home, try to kill his overlord with a stalker, does successfully manage to do so. Bam. And chrono boosting workers at this point. The Protoss player is 24 workers to 22 for validng. Oh, a robo facility coming up. Alright, so maybe we'll see disruptors, some early disruptors. It's usually going to be an observer first out of that robo facility. The links just continuing to scout around. There's not anything to find, but you know what? Those links can't really do anything else. No, automatic injects are not a thing anymore. validng, inject. You have to inject. Getting that roach warren, getting that second gas here at the first base. And where's that queen going? Oh, throwing down a creep tumor and injecting? Alright, fair enough. So the energy got a little bit high, but made up for it. Should get a queen down here as well, and queen in production at the natural. Alright, good stuff. So here come 4 speedlings to see what they can do. They could probably get a good scout off, checking for a third base. Maybe the Protoss player is super greedy, but doesn't even look to see if there's a third base. So never mind. Getting a single gas here, ZeroXIII, and also the double gas is now fully operational. An immortal on the way, and actually we go immortal first. Do we have any observers on the field at all? No. We're going immortal first here. I guess just blind guessing that we're going to see roaches out of the Zerg player. That would make a lot of sense. Double gas coming up here on the natural at the same time. Inject again, Queen. I know it's very hard to remember to do it, but you can. Stalker comes in to kill this Overlord that is scouting out for the third base. There's not one here, so I think validng should be able to feel pretty happy. Up 42 to 36 total harvesters. Has a 3-base economy going very, very well. Has a gold base that has not been yet scouted out by the Protoss player, which is excellent, excellent news as always. And the links come in again to say, now is there a base? No, there's not. Alright, so ZeroXIII is going for what it looks like, some kind of crazy 2-base all-in here. Doesn't look like he's prepping at all to get a second base whatsoever. Getting Zealots, no Adepts whatsoever. He has Stalkers, Zealots, Immortals. He is continuing to produce Immortals. This strategy looks, I'm going to be honest, a little bit gold level-ish. Usually with Immortals, you want a lot of sentries to keep the lings off of them. I guess this number of Zealots might be good at that as well. I don't know. So Glial Reconstitution coming up. This might be a good strategy against roaches just because 3 Immortals really wailing on those roaches does pretty much melts them fairly quickly in my personal experience. Double Evolution Chamber popping on up for validng and a Forge on the way. So both players starting their upgrades at about the same time. That third Nexus, the long... Okay, so basically it's not a 2-base all-in. The third Nexus is here. It is being produced. We are warping in sentries very, very slowly because somehow this pylon is not touching that Nexus or this warp gate. That's crazy. Alright, there we go. So, sentries in, stalkers in. And this is looking like a fairly formidable little army here. But again, you're just leaving the Zerg player alone too long. Oh, there is an observer. When did that come out? I didn't see that earlier. Alright, so the observer says, oh shoot, there is a gold base. Let's go kill it. Exactly what ZeroXIII is going to do. Heading on out to destroy the army. Is it like 12 roaches and a Ravager? I'm not sure if we can save this, validng. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. But here we come. Setting up outside on the creep. Roaches are popping out. The total number of roaches on the field is 20. Might be okay, but here we are. That going right after the gold base. Getting the Queen first of all. She gets destroyed immediately. Not even bothering with the workers. And now going after the workers. But here come some lings right on top of those sentries. Focusing them down. Excellent play. And here come the roaches as well. Getting a full concave. Corrosive Bile whiffing on everything. Again, these 2 Zealots are left behind. Stuck behind force fields of their own making. And actually manages to save the base. Only lost, how many drones got lost there? 2. 2 total drones died, and it was enough to force away ZeroXIII. So the distance to run here actually isn't as far as I thought. I guess there's creep pretty much touching at this point, which is very, very useful. But we're going Ravagers. So validng trying to make this happen. The forward pylon again taking 16 seconds to warp in. Pylons touching gateways, warp gates, and nexuses do take 2 seconds to warp in units. If you're not touching any of those things, you're out here in the front. They warp it in 16 seconds, which is kind of a long time. Are we going to come up behind the mineral line is the question. That's something that you have to worry about taking these bases, is these gold rich mineral fields here are exposed along the backside to some harassment from Stalkers and Immortals and such. Might go for, but instead, here comes the roaches and the Ravagers. They are pressing the issue, coming right on in here. Corrosive Bile on top of a few things does manage to kill that pylon. Interestingly enough here, the Ravagers in the back, the roaches as well, focusing down what they can, killing another sentry. Barrier coming up automatically on these Immortals, pushing in, and the recall does save a lot of those units, recalling back to the natural. Pop. And there we are. So that Immortal has 6 kills. That Immortal, does that also have 6 kills? Yeah, they both have 6 kills. What a bunch of buddies there. Another pylon gets found and destroyed by validng. Not much of a presence on this map, side of the map at all. Is ZeroXIII. Did we just make 1,000,000 lings? We did. 1,000,000 lings on the field. 1,000,000, I mean 23. Pushing everywhere. They're scouting all across the map, trying to find more forward pylons. Here's kind of a forward pylon, but it's going to have a cannon soon enough. And just kind of moving around the back side of the map here is validng getting that +2 missile attack. Is that what it is? Yeah, +2 missile attack, +2 carapace. Scouting for a 4th base. There's not one. That has to be a big relief to validng. Now, there's not one of those out there. With these cannons, this might be a little bit more difficult. Okay, cannon. Never mind. Not that hard to get up here into the 3rd base at all. But again, the lings are kind of an underrated part of this army. They do have the +1 carapace. They're a little bit more tanky. They hit so hard and they hit so fast, though, it's kind of hard to deal with them unless you have splash damage. And none of these units are splash damage. They're all single target. So we'll have to see if we can deal with this number of lings and roaches and Ravagers for ZeroXIII. The army's kind of taking a defensive position. He can deal with attacks on the 3rd base. He can deal with attacks on the natural. This is kind of where you want to set up if you're playing defensively. But here we come. The lings rolling right on in, going immediately after that cannon, and they do destroy it. The Overseers as well. The Lings wrapping around, but with no support from the Roaches and the Ravagers, they quickly get cleaned up. They kill a couple things, but that's about it. And now here comes the Photon Overcharge on top of this pylon. It actually doesn't have a range to hit anything, so it's a bit of a mistake, unfortunately, but Roach is kind of standing in here. Corrosive Bile as well. The Zealots in the front. Ooh, good force fields trapping a bunch of Roaches and Ravagers at the top of this ramp, and they end up getting destroyed. That is something you really, really want to learn how to do, Protoss players, is trap units that are trying to run away. So they can't run away. They get pinned in there. They're trying to move instead of attack move, and they won't attack you as you destroy them. So it is a very, very strong thing to do against both Terran and Zerg players. validng in his panic creates a bunch of Zerglings again. 90 total Lings going to try to come out and swarm across the map aggressively. Super aggressively. Going to catch some of these units out of position going after these Immortals. Are they? No. Are we just base racing here? This is insane. He's going right into the natural, trying to wall this off with with Zealots, but they're too slow going up into the main base. The Lings are on top of everything in the main base, killing every single worker, killing Zealots warping in here as well. These guys are stuck dealing with some Roaches and some Hydras. Meanwhile, the Lings are on top of all of the bases. This base is on fire. This base as well, losing so many gateways. So many probes have died so far. 46 total. Assimilators are dying. Pylons are dying. The Twilight Council as well. What can happen? The army can clean this up. ZeroXIII saying, lol, that's a thing? I don't know if he talks about the massive Ling run by or what, but so many gateways are definitely falling, losing forges that are researching upgrades. The robo facility is going to end up dead as well. The cyber core, if he could get that, would be excellent for the Zerg player at the same time, but I don't think it's going to happen. The army is here. validng is saying for the swarm, attacking and killing what they can, but I think this Ling attack is just about over. And yes, it does get completely cleaned up, but at this point, validng is on 4 bases. Has 47 workers to 22 total for ZeroXIII. If he'd walled off a little bit better here, I think he could have been in a better spot. This pylon needs to be touching stuff. Like, make another pylon here so you can warp those Zealots in faster. That really kills him, that 16-second warp in. He could have been able to stop a bunch of those Lings from getting in. There we go, putting up another gateway to make that happen. Wanting revenge is ZeroXIII, trying to kill this gold base again, but there are Hydras here. Hydra, a great composition against this, especially with a couple spines to help out. That's really nice. Can we get a good angle of attack? And yes, time warp going on all of these Hydras. Oh, sniping down the mothership core. There will be no recall whatsoever. Hydras taking down all of the Zealots. The Zealots come warping in. There are a couple of Adepts in here as well. Stutter stepping forward. A bunch of Hydras in the back cannot attack. Only a few can attack at a time. And now we're getting better cohesion. Unfortunately, the number of Immortals is just too great. Taking out the Queen as well. Finally, the gold base does fall. The drones are forced to evacuate. Long distance mine. Heading on back home. Broodlings chasing things down. Trying to kill that Stalker with 8 hit points. Can't quite do it. Alright, so ZeroXIII is back up. Has a 4th base as well. That attack, being able to kill a base for the Zerg player was really huge there, in my estimation. Where are his chrono boosts being used? There's one. There's this chrono boost as well. We're chrono boosting warp gates? Is that what we're doing? It appears to be the intent, yes. Alright, so I would be chrono boosting workers and getting back up as much as humanly possible. But these drones are long distance mining. Might as well put them down here. This is pretty much mined out. You're not going to put another hatchery here anytime soon, I don't think, for validng. The army here, again, sticking with what works, and a single Adept, which doesn't have any kills, surprisingly. They hit pretty hard against Hydralisks. They do 23 damage to light, 27 with +2 attack upgrades. So pretty fantastic stuff from the Adept when they are upgraded. But validng not really floating much money at all. Still has 45 workers, but look at this. ZeroXIII is up to 38, soon to have 39, soon to have 41. He's catching up. That Ling attack was nice, but you didn't really kill any of the Nexuses. You killed a whole ton of workers. You killed some gateways. The production is a little bit stunted, but look, these gateways are already back for ZeroXIII. So we're going, Lurker Hydra here. The Lurker Hydra train is on the way, and this base is in a lot of trouble. Immediately evacuating all of the probes. I don't think we're even going to have to burrow the Lurkers here. Might have to. Yeah, if some of these probes are going to insist on sticking around, they get slashed like they're not even there. The damage from these spines is just so huge. Lurker Hydra, pretty good stuff. And now we're back down to 44 workers. So ZeroXIII lost that 4th base, lost a bunch of probes at the same time. Trying to find a good way to move on in here to attack it. Immortals, I think, do fairly well against the Lurker. How are the upgrades here? +2/+2 and +2/+2. Here comes the attack, though. Standing on in, the Lurkers are burrowing, getting some shots off with the spines. Good micro. getting out of the range of the spine crawlers, taking hits from Hydras, though, as we're trying to back out. Might actually lose a Stalker, but no. We do not actually lose a Stalker. Hydra Lurker, fairly scary stuff. I've seen Protoss players complain about this for quite a while. Do we want to attack up that ramp? I don't think validng does. No, not indeed in the least. Rota's moving across the map as well, trying to see what they can see. Long distance mining still a thing. I mean, at this point, what is this? 95, 121, 366, 373. I guess it would be financially viable to do that, but here we are again, trying to catch some of these lurkers out of position. They are managing to burrow, though. The spines are tearing through everything. The Hydras as well doing an excellent job trying to stutter step out of here. One Immortal falls. Sentries falling as well. Roaches in the front, all getting melted down. I think we're out of range of most of them, but that's it. ZeroXIII calls the GG. validng calls out the Manor 13 as well, cleans up the army, and ZeroXIII is defeated and has left the game. So yeah, pretty intense back and forth there in the end. The Ling attack was huge for validng, not fully walling off at the natural, unfortunately, for ZeroXIII, but in the end almost came back to win it, but the lurker damage was just too much, and that was it for our Protoss friends. So thank you so much for watching today. This has been FalconPaladin with yet another Daily Blizzard upload. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.